Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rahma Nur Assyifa and my last student number is 33. And welcome to my final project presentation for our Theory of Translation course. Today I will be presenting an analysis of a paragraph from a novel entitled As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. Let's start with a quick introduction. Translation isn't just replacing words, it's also about preserving the original message, purpose, and emotion while sounding natural. This is especially challenging in literature, where figurative language and cultural meanings cannot be translated literally. Today, I will be applying three main theories we discussed this semester. First, Catford's translation shift theory for grammar and structure changes. Second, Baker's theory of equivalence for word and textual label choices. And third, figurative language dynamics for metaphors and hidden meaning. Before diving in, here's a quick background on the book. As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow is a powerful young adult novel by Syrian-Canadian author Zoulfa Katouh. Set in Homs during the Syrian Civil War, it follows 18-year-old Salama, a pharmacy student who must choose between fleeing for safety or staying to save lives at a hospital. The original English version was published in 2022 by Little, Brown and Company, and the Indonesian translation we are analyzing today was published by Mizan Pustaka in April 2023. Translated by Berliani, Mantili, Nugrahani, and Esti, Budihabsari. On the screen, next in here you can see the text from chapter 1. On top is the English source text and below is in Indonesian target text. Please take a quick look at how the translator handled the emotional weight of this passage. We're going to break these specific sentences down now. Alright, let's dive into Catford's translation shift. First, a structure shift. The source text says it's in our national anthem. The target text is kami menyebutkannya dalam lagu kebangsaan kami. The English sentence uses a subject it. The translator shifts into active clause with the subject kami and verb menyebutkannya. This grammatical change preserves the meaning but makes it sound much more natural in Indonesian. Next, we have a unit shift. Formidable guardians becomes penjaga yang gagah berani. In here, the single English adjective formidable at the word level shifts up into the phrase level. Because Indonesian lacks a single word capturing that exact emotional weight, the translator expands the translation to share the full meaning clearly. Moving to Mona Baker's theory of equivalence for word level equivalence. The general English noun words is translated to petuah, meaning wise sayings. This semantic upgrade makes the tone more serious and patriotic. Also, defiant becomes tangguh, while defiant implies fighting back. Tangguh means steward endurance, showing that preserving the core message of strength is more important than a literal match. And next, for above word equivalence, let's look at collocations. Bone marrow translates directly to tulang sumsum. This is a perfect collocation match as both languages use this body part to represent the identity. However, tears sting my eyes becomes air mata menyengat penglihatanku. In English, sting naturally pairs with eyes. By changing eyes to penglihatan or vision, the translation slightly breaks the natural word pairing and it feels like a bit more abstract. Continuing with Baker's theory for grammatical equivalence regarding tense, have become translates to menjadi. Since Indonesian lacks of grammar tense markers, the translator pairs the simple verb menjadi with the time word kini or now to bridge the grammar gap. For textual equivalence and cohesion, they have become our reality. Translates to kata-kata itu menjadi realitas kami. To avoid the confusion of translating the pronoun they literally, the translator uses a pointing word and repeats the noun phrase, kata-kata itu. This uses both reference and lexical cohesion, making the sentence connection much stronger for the reader. Finally, let's analyze figurative language. First, a metaphor of love for our country is in our bone marrow. The tenor is love for the country, the vehicle is bone marrow, and the ground is that it is deeply rooted. Because this biological image works perfectly in both cultures, the translator uses Baker's same vehicle strategy, preserving the emotional effect. And for connotation, the verb sting suggests sharp physical pain, which menyengat successfully preserves. However, as noted, shifting from eyes to penglihatan slightly softens that physical impact. Now to wrap up with our overall evaluation, the translator successfully communicates the original patriotic message and emotional tone by prioritizing naturalness over literal translation. Catford's structure and unit shifts adapt the grammatical differences beautifully. Baker's equivalence is achieved across word, grammatical, and textual levels, and the figurative language, like the bone marrow metaphor, is perfectly preserved. While there are minor adjustments in collocations, these are necessary for a readable, impactful literary translation. That brings me to the end of my presentation, and thank you so much for listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.